Hey, so I just want to be blunt about this. I've never played a Metroid. You can shoot me with guns now. Okay, so never played isn't quite accurate. I've played Metroid games. It's more like I've never seriously given one a shot or finished any of them. I've tried out the NES Metroid. I mess around for a few minutes, maybe get the Morph Ball, get lost, and have no idea how to progress. Then I close the game and I play Kirby's Adventure or something instead. Even in my longest attempt where I played the game for over an hour, I don't think I even beat one of the bosses. That might be kind of sad, but that was my experience. I've also tried Super Metroid. I really enjoy the atmosphere in that game, and the music is amazing, and it sure plays a whole lot better than the NES game, but aside from the fantastic intro sequence, I just never got the motivation to trudge my way through the entire game, even with a map. I tried Dread even. I really like the start of it. The tension during the Emmy segments is great, and the game feels really good to play, and the cinematic flair it has adds a lot. But at one point I just got stuck looking for the path forward, and I never touched the game after that. The thing is, I want to like Metroid. With the little bit I've been exposed to, I love the vibes of it, even if I've had trouble grasping the gameplay. And as a Nintendo loser, not even finishing one Metroid game is just a huge gap in my resume. But with the promise of a cookie on the line and the recent addition of Zero Mission to Nintendo Switch Online, I finally decided that I would actually beat a Metroid game. In case you somehow didn't know, Metroid is the original Metroidvania. I mean, it's right there in the name. You run around an interconnected map, fighting enemies, grabbing upgrades and weapons that let you progress further, and often backtracking in order to do these things. Zero Mission itself, though, is just kind of an interesting game to me. Like a pretty decent amount of GBA games, this is a reimagined version of an older Nintendo game. But it's honestly fair to say that this is a brand new game. Samus gets a decent amount of abilities that were just not present in the original release, and most areas are significantly altered to reflect that. But as interesting as some of these things are, none of that realistically actually matters to me, since I've never played a Metroid game. What really matters to me is how well this game stands on its own as a game. And there's a lot of things this game does really right, like the presentation. I think the thing that I appreciated the most about this game was just the vibes. Every single little choice made for this game's presentation was just really great. Unlike the NES version, this game has a much larger variety of really excellent environment art. There's the Caves of Brinstar, the mysterious Chozo ruins, this goddamn eyeball place. It's all really cool. You actually get immersed in this alien planet in a way I sort of assumed this game couldn't do, considering it's a remake of an NES game, but it works surprisingly well. The one thing I could complain about is that the visuals are a bit more bright to make up for the GBA's super dark screen, but it never gets in the way of the pure atmosphere this game has. There's also some absolutely fantastic music. The soundtrack is suitably triumphant, moody, or ominous when it needs to be, and it adds just so much to the game. I pretty much loved every song here, and if there's one factor that motivates me to play more Metroid, it's hearing more of this really great music. My favorite song is Kraid's Lair. It's a banger. Another thing that adds to this atmosphere is these short anime-style cutscenes. There's only a few of them, and they're not particularly long, but there's something incredibly charming to me about a GBA game attempting to be cinematic, and even more so when it actually kind of succeeds. Another thing this game really succeeds at is just rewarding you for exploring every nook and cranny. The map is big and full of so much interconnected pathways and hidden tunnels that it genuinely is worth seeking those things out. The game gives you some guidance, but it really doesn't give you enough to take away from your own sense of discovery. Every time I actually found something just by looking around, I felt like the smartest person in the world, even when it was just the intended path I was supposed to go on. It makes progression really rewarding when you just naturally come across all these upgrades as you explore. That is assuming you could actually find them. Here's the part where I complain. Now, don't get me wrong, I had a lot of fun with this game, but also, I'm not gonna lie, it got pretty tedious sometimes. At one point during the Kraid section, I'm supposed to jump into this pit of fake acid, something that I had otherwise be conditioned to avoid like the plague because it takes out my health so fast. I spent a pretty long amount of time completely lost on how to even progress, and it just kinda sucked. Sure, I'm not the greatest at navigating games, but I also wish the in-game guidance was enough for me to have a smoother experience. For whatever reason, I also had a lot of trouble finding a thing that turned on these rails in the same area, which just resulted in me aimlessly wandering on Kraid for a good amount of time twice. I understand it wants me to explore on my own to an extent, but getting stuck for over an hour just isn't fun. It just takes me out of the game. I will take some responsibility for my poor exploration skills resulting in me missing a lot of E-tanks, but I kind of have to blame the game when I get this lost and can't make any progress at all. I also want to blame this stupid boss. Killing this bug took me like 20 minutes. I don't know if I wasted too many missiles at the start or something, but it just would not die. I ended up taking too many hits, and I had to hide in a corner while I chipped away at its health. The main bosses in this game are really great, and I actually really like the Ridley fight, but these mini-bosses are just not very good. I don't want all this complaining and dumb tangents to make it sound like I didn't have fun with this game though, because I actually really did. The finale of this game really changed my mind and made me truly love this game in spite of my previous issues. After beating Mother Brain and experiencing a classic Metroid escape sequence, which I somehow didn't realize originated from the first game, there's a final and completely new part of the game. This one additional section at the end is probably the highlight of the entire game for me. Samus is stuck on a new planet without her power suit, and she has to infiltrate a space pirate ship with nothing but a stun gun that can't even take out enemies. The amount of tension this part of the game builds is legitimately impressive to me. I didn't think I would be on the edge of my seat like this in a Game Boy Advance game. The space pirates are actually pretty terrifying when they're set up in this way, and stealthing around is super fun and rewarding. After a bunch of sneaking around both the space pirate ship and some ruins, you get to fight whatever this boss is. I'm not really sure what's going on here. You hit it 4 times and then you finally get your armor back. You finally get to use every ability you were so sorely missing during the last hour or so, in addition to a few mysterious locked upgrades from before. Surviving those stealth sections, making it out alive, and finally getting your power armor back, it's all just so goddamn satisfying. Making things even better is the triumphant remix of the Brinstar theme playing as you shred through all those stupid space pirates. Oh yeah, you also fight Mecha Ridley. It's a pretty cool concept, but the boss is pretty similar to the other ones in the game, so I don't really have much to say about it. But it's neat anyways. After another escape sequence, I finally actually beat a Metroid game. After all that's said and done, I'm just kind of having trouble coming to a conclusion on this game. This game is soaked in these really interesting vibes that immerse you in this hostile alien planet while also rewarding you for exploring it. And it's hard not to fall in love with that. The music is great, the environments look nice, and the designs for all the enemies and bosses are really cool. Zero Mission in particular was also honestly probably the best starting point for me, because the fact it gave me any guidance at all meant I was actually able to figure out where to go on my own most of the time. I also ended up feeling really satisfied of building up my collection of powers and gaining freedom that I didn't have at the start. And once again, I need to add the Space Pirate Stealth section is really good. It makes me a bit interested in playing Fusion and Dread since they also have these sort of stealth suspense sections. But unfortunately, there's a reason why I probably won't do that anytime soon. I just feel like there's a bit too much of somewhat outdated game design here. I feel like in the current year, we don't need to hide progression behind what looks like a dead end, and we can do a better job at giving indicators on where you're actually supposed to go. I just don't play games to get frustrated. I know I could have a better time by just learning the map and replaying the game, but I don't want to? Maybe I'm just not the target demographic for this type of game. At the end of the day, the game is cool and it's good, but I don't know if I'm gonna touch a Metroid game again anytime soon. But I'm glad I played this one. Thanks for watching. Feel free to yell at me in the comments about how bad I am at video games, or maybe I just need to try a different Metroid game. Either way, tune in next time where I'll probably just be talking about Sonic again. See ya!